Tony Amadeo there, did you?
No.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is 12 o'clock on Wednesday, August 21st, 2024, to call the monthly meeting of the Lawrence County Board.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Here.
District Attorney Lee Makusa,
Here.
Judge Amato,
Here.
Controller Prestipine,
Here.
Sheriff Quiliero,
Here.
Commissioner Sinata,
Here.
Commissioner Vogler.
Here.
We do have a quorum present, so the meeting is officially called to order. And I note that we always have these two sections for visitor comments. And I guess I never asked the question before. Maybe I can just ask it. Is there a reason we do two?
May I?
Please.
My guess is the law requires one, as you probably know. Historically, the Board of Commissioners have expanded that to have the visitor comments at the beginning of the meeting and then prior to adjournment. So my assumption is this is a carryover from what the commissioners do with their public. So we're meeting the letter of the law and we're going one step beyond.
Well, then I see no reason to deviate from what the commissioners have established. So at this time, if there are any visitor comments, I would note that you will have a second opportunity later in the meeting after we discuss business. But if there's any visitor comments before we start, please feel free. No visitor comments. Let's move on to item number 3. Everyone's had an opportunity, I believe, I know that the minutes have been disseminated, the prior meetings, and has everyone had an opportunity to review them? And if you have had an opportunity to review them, are there any questions or concerns related to them before we vote? Seeing no questions or concerns, this time I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes of July 17, 2024 have been approved. Item number 4 is the population report. Gordon?
Currently, we have 156 inmates at the Lawrence County Jail. We've got 17 inmates out at other facilities for court purposes, separations. We have 12 inmates from other counties being housed at Lawrence County Jail. We have 8 females from Washington, 1 from Mercer. We also have 1 from Crawford. And we have 2 juveniles at Lawrence County Jail at the present time.
How many beds do we have available right now? Approximately.
Approximately 150.
Anything else related to the population or personnel report?
No, sir.
Let's move to, does anyone have any questions related to that? Okay, moving to item number 5, the approval of the bills. The bills have been included in the packet that was distributed. And does anyone have any questions related to the bills that have been listed here?
I'd move to pay the bills.
The motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 6, old business. We have touched on several different, well, there was a fair amount discussed at the last meeting. One of the issues that was discussed at the last meeting was the camera system that has been previously paid for. Warden, can you give us an update on the camera system?
They're over there right now working. They're completing about 1 unit per week. We've got Bravo done, we've got Delta done, we've got Booking done, and we're currently working on Fox. Hopefully next week they should be able to wrap things up with our central control. And then we just have to work out some of the problems and things like that. But it's going very, very well right now. So
In terms of installation of the hardware, though, you anticipate that would be done within the next couple of weeks,
I'd say 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Most.
And then it's going to be up to us then using it and figuring out what we need to fix.
It's going very, very well. Staff are very receptive to it, and they like the new system.
Any other questions related to the camera system? Second item of old business was the jail work program. I sent a copy of this. It's an older program that was drafted prior to COVID. I sent a copy to each of the prison board members just for your review. I have had an opportunity to discuss it briefly with the warden. And for those of you that may not remember or members of the general public. The idea is to use low-risk, low-level offenders that are serving a sentence inside the Lawrence County Jail, use them outside of the jail to complete public works initiatives, to clean up the community, anything else that may be of public interest. Obviously, there would be some issues that we're going to have to deal with if we do this that revolve around security, safety, availability of resources to properly supervise and guard the inmates. Also eligibility, but all of that is stated in the proposed proposal. I would just ask that, again, you review it, collect any thoughts that you may have, respond in email if possible. And, but we need to really, I need to do some tinkering with the warden to figure out how to do this. We know that other counties have done it in the past. Lawrence County has actually done it in the past. We had inmates that were part of a release program. We also had DUIs that you could come and, you're out on work release, and then you would come in at night and serve your time, and then the next morning you would be out. That involved a dedicated wing where those individuals were housed, ensuring the integrity of the facility is paramount. So there are a lot of details that we have to work out, but I'd love to hear any comments, criticisms, or anything that you could offer up related to the program so I can discuss that with the warden. Once we have a finalized proposal, I will then send that back out to every member of the prison board, and then we can discuss it in full at the public meeting. Does anyone have any questions about that? And is that procedure acceptable to all the members? Simon, question on
Josh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it sounds like something that could be very worthwhile for the community. Would it involve the whole county? Would it be like, how would like a municipality ask for this, like Elwood or Newcastle or Shattuck or something?
So that's
How?
the mechanism as to how to deploy the resources is something that we would have to discuss. But yes, it'd be available to the whole county. And connected to that, there also may be some union issues depending on what these individuals were asked to do. Does that overlap a service that the municipality currently has individuals employed to do? There's some legal issues that we're going to have to work out. But in terms of availability, yes, it'd be open to the whole county.
And we could utilize some of that actually in the county.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, sure. It could be used anything so long as it was in Lawrence County.
Sure.
Couldn't be, the workforce could not be utilized outside of the county, but whether it was the city of Newcastle, Pulaski, Enid Valley, or the county itself requesting, these
I know
types of
we
services.
have like responsibility for the county parks here. And I'm just thinking about when you said that, I know that the administrator and Asta were talking today about some of the efforts of cleaning it, doing things there, which we have the cost involved with it. So this could be a way of us utilizing some ways of saving.
Yeah, and there's also a benefit to the inmates as well. One, it gets them out of the jail, and two, it may help them in future evaluations on release, probation, duration, things like that. But we do have a lot of bugs that we have to.
Sure, I'm just curious, like I said, I know I've heard of the program in other areas, you see this, and it sounds like something could be, win on both sides if it works, so.
Yeah, I think it'd be beneficial to Lawrence County, and I think the citizens would like seeing it. And I think that there's utility to it. Once we hammer out the bugs, we can put it to a vote and fully discuss.
Sorry, thank you. I look
Yes, sir.
forward to hearing it.
On August 8th, the jail had inspection. Ward, please talk a little bit about the inspection.
I was absent on that day to medical issue, but Deputy Simmons and Deputy Stillhofer were both there.
Oh, that's never a good sign when you lead with "I was absent." Oh, here you go. But this,
Sir, I was. I couldn't.
I know you were. I know you had major surgery plan, but okay, go ahead.
Tried to get it the week before and he pushed it back on me.
How was the
The
inspection?
inspection went well. August 8th, the inspector came in, advised us that our policy and supporting documents were 100% in compliance with what they needed. So the documentation was good, went through the facility, found some issues that they advised us on. We're waiting for a preliminary findings report right now. Once we get that, we'll be able to address any deficiencies. And then the final findings come in, and we should be able to address everything with a little list that we've had. It's a very short list compared to the past years without putting this.
My understanding is that when they come in, when the state inspectors come in and they perform the evaluation, that they do provide you a detailed list of what they believe needs to be addressed. And then there is a period of time that we have to address that. Is that the case?
It is, but they've changed the inspection process a little bit where they ask us not to address anything that they provided until the preliminary findings are given to us.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna give us a preliminary findings letter. In the process of that, we're collecting all this other data that we need and waiting for that preliminary findings letter to send out the data that she's asking for.
Deputy, were you satisfied? Were you happy with the inspection?
Exactly. That's the best I've seen in my 28 years.
That's great. So, does anyone have any questions connected to the inspection? Well, I guess we'll await the findings, or at least the preliminary findings, and we can discuss from there.
Yes, sir.
Last matter of old business was the fire suppression system. I believe where we left it, we were speaking with Mr. Manasco, and we were putting this out to bid. Is that where we were? Or did we not put out the bid?
Now, we got 2 quotes, and right now we're trying to figure out if the one company is working on becoming co-stars.
Okay.
We're waiting on that to see which avenue we're going to take.
So we've not secured services of anyone to provide this, but we have addressed any potential fire safety issues by having direct link between the jail facility and its employees and the 911 center.
Yes, sir. I mean, they're not notified, but we call.
We call, so you're able to,
It's a 24-hour operation like you said in the past.
right, so somebody can pick up the phone and, gotcha, okay. Does anyone have any other questions about the fire suppression system? I believe that addresses the old business. Does anyone have anything else related to old business that we've not discussed that they'd like to discuss? Seeing none, moving on to new business, I have a warden update. Is there anything you need to update?
Other than that inspection and things that we have going on over there, we're replacing some old broken doors, some windows, half of the windows that we needed replaced are done. I'm still waiting on the company to come back and finish that project. That's about it. We just maintain every day, trying to improve the conditions over there and the structure. I mean, we've got a great group of people over there, and each and every day we just keep moving forward. I mean, our training program's moving forward. We basically have all of our staff DOC trained. I really couldn't ask for much more than what the staff have been doing.
I have on the list this door replacement repair. Could you please explain that to the other members of the what we're doing?
Some of the non-security doors, some of the latches don't latch. Some of them have been rusted out over the years. Some of the locks need replaced. It's just a lot of doors that haven't had any attention in a number of years that we're actually finally getting fixed and they're going to be operational.
I obviously focused on the fact that you said non-security, so none of this could result in security breach.
Yes, sir.
And the total number of doors, let me actually ask you a number. What's the time frame if, to address all of these doors and repairs them?
I would estimate 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months. Okay. Are we able to do this in-house, or do we have to contract for services outside of the jail?
It's actually going to be contracted outside. I mean, we've obtained quotes and everything like that. We're just waiting on the company to get that.
Okay. I also noticed that, it's listed as B, a no-cost extension for the state opioid response grant. This is something that I know everyone was provided a copy of this. What this is just a project modification. And can we have an update on the actual program? Just tell everybody what it is.
Sure. So that's the grant that provides the medicated assisted treatment. So that's your Suboxone, methadone, and Vivitrol. So right now we do, when they come in, we just do a continuation of the MAP. So we may at some point have to do initiation. So with the no-cost extension, since we already applied for a Vivitrol grant, we're going to take the funding that was there for Vivitrol and see if they'll replace it with Sublocade. So we can give Sublocade injections if we need to start initiation. More than likely, that's gonna come down through the courts that we have to.
So this is money that was awarded via your efforts and the grant that was written to the state, and we got the
We
money.
got the money. So we have a surplus of $127,000. So we'll have 9 months to spend that,
And they gave us a time frame in which we had to spend the money, and since we did not spend it,
correct?
this is just an extension to
Just an
keep the money.
Yes.
I'm assuming we can't use the money for anything else. It's earmarked for that. Okay. And this is for a 9-month extension, I believe?
Correct, yes.
I don't think there's anything we have to vote on with regard to this. You already put in for the extension. It's already-
Right, I will just need the commissioners to sign off on the extension since it's an extension.
Right.
They'll just have to sign off on the modification.
And the grant, like all grants, they don't come to the jail. The jail may be the awarded entity, but ultimately it's the commissioners that are the recipients. I don't really think there's any action the prison board has to take here. It's just up to our 3 commissioners. Okay. Does anyone have any questions related to the grant or to the request for extension? Seeing none, live scan. This is something, I guess I could have listed as old business, but it's also new business. There has been a fair amount of talk about performing live scanning at the Lawrence County Jail. We're talking about live scanning when an individual gets arrested and they are booked by the police departments. They're scanned basically to determine identity, and they're logged into a system. The idea was always to have a central booking, but for a variety of reasons, it never came to fruition. Live scanning individuals that are going to be incarcerated at the jail is something that I've been talking to the warden about, that I've talked to the sheriff about this, a lot of other chiefs. Chiefs of police within Lawrence County like this because when they bring an individual after hours or really at any time to the jail, they can be live scanned and then incarcerated if it's available there. As opposed to dropping someone off and then coming back the next day, picking them up from the jail, which usually requires overtime or additional manpower to then take them from the jail to Newcastle or Elwood City where they have a live scan machine, live scanning them, then bringing them back. This would be a much more efficient process, but there is concerns that we would want it limited to only people that are going to be incarcerated in the facility. Everyone else would have to follow the normal procedures, and it would not be open to the public, or if you needed fingerprints to become a coach, you're not going to go into the Lawrence County Jail and have a corrections officer scan it. It's just going to be for people that are admitted to the facility. Warden, does that pretty much encapsulate?
Yes, I think the biggest question was, the manpower to be able to conduct these scans and the location of the live scan itself. Up in Woking, I don't think there's any more room up there, than Tech 84. We talked about the attorney-client room downstairs. That's quite possible.
I wanted to mention this at the official prison board meeting so that we can, with the prison board's approval, we can work on an actual proposal and then get that to everyone on the board to review it, and then we can make a final determination. If that's acceptable to every member of the prison board, then we will work on the proposal and we will get it distributed. Okay, then we will get to work on that, on the live scanning feasibility for the jail. The last item that I have on new business is an email, and Commissioner, you were 2 days ahead of me on the distribution of it. I sent a request to Joe Vanasco and to Controller Prestipine about a part-time maintenance position at the jail, and I wanted them to take a look at it, make sure that it was in the proper format. But what the jail is requesting is assistance from a part-time employee in the maintenance department. This would be funded by the existing budget. It's not going to require additional monies to be pumped into the jail's budget. But wanted to give everyone a heads up that that request is coming. And if the controller and Joe Vanasco are satisfied with the form, then I can disseminate it to everyone with the proper job description. And at that point, we would be requesting from the commissioners to open a salary board. As prison board president, as you all are aware, I do not have the ability I can request on behalf of the warden that a salary board be convened. But ultimately, that will be up to the commissioners as to whether or not they determine what is necessary. So with everyone's permission, what I'd like to do is put in the request for the part-time maintenance position once they sign off on it, and then we can discuss it. Everyone in agreement with that process? That is all the new business that I have. Does anyone else have any new business?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
It's been brought to my attention that we had an ambulance at the jail a couple weeks ago and took a gentleman to the hospital. And I've heard 3 different stories. I just wondered what the real story is. I heard an overdose, I heard appendix, and I heard stomach issues. And I'm getting this off the street. So did we have an ambulance at the jail transporting an inmate to the hospital?
Yes, we did. And the matter is being investigated by law enforcement personnel. We have not issued a final report yet. I guess that's the most I can say at this point. But yes, we did have an ambulance commissioner, and law enforcement is investigating.
So as the 3 commissioners, why weren't we notified? I mean, we're
It's a good question.
responsible for that jail.
Yeah.
And I gotta hear it off the street. I wasn't happy about it at all, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's a good question, and certainly we make sure that you're notified anytime there's a medical issue at the facility.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions?
Just to maybe clarify what you just said, that notification then I assume would go to all 7 members of the prison board, is that correct?
I think that it really would matter. It would really be determined on the extent of the information. I don't think the other prison board members necessarily want to know if somebody has appendicitis and needs to take to the hospital. The commissioner certainly would. Now, if there was some sort of criminal activity or, riot or something, then I would think. But I wouldn't want to have some sort of blanket notification for every time there was a medical issue to all the prison board members. And just, unless I'm wrong, I just don't think that it would matter if someone, slipped and fell. But obviously to the commissioners, it wouldn't matter.
Well, the reason I raise the question and the manner in which I raise it is that the 7 of us are equals, as I see it, as it relates to the oversight of the prison. And granted, we each have additional responsibilities over and above that. I mean, obviously, 3 commissioners don't do a lot of things that Judge Motto does or that Sheriff Valera does, or vice versa. But it would seem to me that from the standpoint of consistency, so that we're all getting the same message at the same time, I would think it would be appropriate for everyone to be notified. But perhaps, and I say that not knowing if, for example, the controller, actually who's left, the controller, the president, judge, and the sheriff, maybe they don't want to be or care to be.
I guess this is probably the appropriate venue to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if there's, what type of notification do we all want to receive? I can tell you as the district attorney and member of the prison board, I don't want to be called if you have someone that got sick and their blood pressure is down and, you have to take them to the facility, but I obviously want to be notified if there is some sort of, not even criminal conduct or perceived criminal or alleged criminal. I want to know if somebody, dies. I mean, that's probably obvious, but major incidents I would want to know about. That's just from my own personal perspective. I'm not sure.
If it's a medical call, I'm gonna know immediately. Because we're
Right, because you would have to do it.
transported.
Judge, is there a specific
I guess the categories I would think of would be if it involves some suspected criminal activity, or if it involved a security issue, or I guess a matter that might involve some public interest. Like, those are the three categories that come to my mind immediately.
Josh, years ago, we used to get a report out of the jail. Every so often report, anything daily, anything that happened. I mean, I worked for years, we used to get a report.
Is that something we would want to do? Do we want a daily report? Do we want a weekly?
Or you could do a weekly report. If there's anything that goes on in the jail, then the board would know.
I just don't want to hear from the street corner when they say we have another overdose at the jail.
Right.
You know, that's my big thing.
I think Dan is correct on this, Josh, or all of us, like if there's an ambulance there or something, the perception is out there that someone on the street is gonna say, oh, there was an ambulance there, even though they speculate and they say those things.
Well, then why don't we do this?
Yeah, I mean-
Why don't we just do blanket notification at the beginning, and then we can throttle it back as we go.
Sure, I mean,
That way, then, if you get calls, you'll know, hey, no, this was somebody who, they're going for a knee operation, and, need to address it. Then you have the information.
I think, yeah, I think that could work. I'm just saying, like Chad notifies us on a lot of issues within the county 24/7, whether it's a storm or just something that we should be aware of. But I'm saying is, we're not talking if, someone need an aspirin over there. So I'm just talking, an ambulance goes to the jail. The public sees that ambulance went to the jail. Next thing you know, rumors start. I mean, I'm just, from that perspective, that's something we should know, just, hey, we have to take someone to jail, they had appendicitis. Okay, that's fine. But I'm like what Judge Moore was saying, there's certain things, I think maybe, just to clarify, see how it works, but, and Dan's right as well, it's like, we all 7 equals, so. And we will get hit up probably more just because we're out and about, or someone's gonna, like Dan said, he's had 3 people talk to you about it. And you don't want to look like we don't know what's going on.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Sure.
that's just,
Yeah, we'll just do a blanket notification, and then, like I said, we'll throttle it back after that.
sure,
Yeah,
sounds good.
that's easy enough. Any other new business? Okay, this would take us to number 8, our visitor comments. I know that Debbie from the news is watching from home. I know she has some questions, but I guess she'll call afterwards. Any other visitor comments over here? No? Any need for executive session? No need for executive session. Could I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Motion's been made. Is there a second? Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, meeting is adjourned.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.